Hey, Delaware, we are back and we are a few podcasts in, and we had a little issue with our name. Turns out it was already taken. So we are doing a little switch up. We are That Delaware Podcast.
I'm so excited about the name. It was a long, drawn out process to come up with it.
I was
We
gonna
had
say.
a culmination of a 2-hour meeting to come up with some pretty terrible suggestions before we landed on this, but I think it's a good one.
Yeah. Because we're realtors, we're going to be talking about real estate, but we're also women. And we're also, like Caitlin said before, we have roots in the community. Like, we're moms. It's just not one, there's not one like general thing that we feel like we should title ourselves. So, just like,
Yeah.
okay,
When
people
it
are
comes
like, what's that Delaware podcast?
when it comes
Boom.
down
There you
to it,
go.
I think that even though we're going to be talking about some broad, more general topics, it's going to be focused on the communities that we're in, which is Delaware.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we are committed. There's no going back now. We put a ring on it.
And if you don't like it, we don't want to know.
Keep your comments to yourself. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about social media. Um, Social media is, I mean, it's such a big thing in all of our lives, right? Even if we don't have businesses, right? People that don't have businesses. But if you do have a business, there's a lot of pressure for you to put yourself out there. And honestly, it's amazing to do that for your business, right? It's like it's free marketing. Um,
So, can I ask you guys a question? Before you got into the real estate industry, how active were you on social media? Like, what was your social media presence like? And how long ago was it? Because I think it's really interesting the evolution of our social media presences.
I feel like social media, when I got into the industry, was still like a social thing. It wasn't about promoting your business at all. And I mean, this is almost 15 years ago.
So,
So
when
it
you
was
got into
very
the
different.
industry, it was still put a photo album on Facebook of like your entire night out and every single blurry picture, and there was no Instagram, and you weren't like making ads for yourself, right?
Nobody was using any kind of social media for business purposes at that time. It was brand new still.
So, was it hard for you to kind of like start putting your face out there for your business?
It was so hard for me, and I still struggle with it because if I did not have my business, I would not be on social media. I might have, like, one of those, sleeper accounts where I could scroll Instagram and watch reels for, like to, like, unwind at night, but I wouldn't be posting. I still struggle with it with my kids too because they're at the age where they're like, "Mom, did you post that online?" And I have to be very aware of how they might feel about things that I'm posting. So I
Such
try
a
to be
big
aware of that.
one. Yeah, social media autonomy for kids is like a really hot topic. I know a lot of celebrities have strong opinions. I try to my kids are little. They're like almost 4 and almost 6, but I try to ask their permission and make them feel like they're like included in the process of like making the videos that they're in or like the pictures that they're in. But they are a part of my brand, I guess now. Wow, it feels like so shady to say my brand,
You're a part of
but
my brand.
no, I mean, the people who have found me on social media who wanna work with me tend to be people with kids who see the suggestions for kid-friendly activities that I share and kid-friendly local businesses, and they kind of align themselves with the stuff I'm putting out there with my kids. But I do try to ask my kids permission to
Yeah.
share stuff with them.
Well, and it sounds very cringy when you say like my kids are my brand or this is my brand, but when we talk about brand, it's like your brand is who you are as a person, what you do in your life. You're going to connect with people that, can relate to that. So, it sounds cringy, but it's real. And the other part of that is balancing, privacy versus, putting that out there and sharing with people because I am an oversharer.
Mm.
And it's hard not for me not to share Austin. So I started out having a personal account and I was an oversharer. I share a lot. I still have my personal account and I created a business account, which I then turned over to a creator account because apparently you can't use music in a business account. But anyways, I now have it, like, down to a science to where if I post a lot of like her face, like a bunch of pictures of her, it's from my personal account. It still goes over to my Facebook, but it's private. If it's on my business account, I will try to be like strategic. I know you mentioned how you're like, I like how you kind of like show her, but
Her face.
don't.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Um, so that also goes to my Facebook page, but it's public and I know it's public. So it's like there's a strategy, but it took me a while to like get the hang of that. And I still struggle with like not wanting to share all the things publicly, but it's
Yeah.
scary.
So Jeanette and Jenna, you guys are newer agents. Were you guys on social media before you became realtors?
So I had Facebook years ago, probably 2009 or 10, and I was trying to finish school, so it was kind of like a distracting thing.
Hmm.
So I just stopped going on there. I think they ended up erasing my account probably.
So you have not been on social media for like the last like decade.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm back on now so I can start promoting us.
Welcome back.
Thanks. So I'm with Kristen. I probably wouldn't be on there just because I hadn't been on there for so long. So I am struggling a little bit just as far as like remembering to make the time to document what I'm doing or promote something or engage. I've been trying to make lists. What can I post? Okay, what's going on in the community. People want to know about that. So I'm trying to get
Yeah.
trying to get into the habit of documenting it.
Yeah, I see.
Haven't.
I see you posting like recipes and like local businesses, and I really like that because it's kind of like another kind of cringy social media real estate term is like adding value. Like when I see your post, it's like a cool recipe that I might actually want to try, and you're adding value to my life by sharing. It's not just like a gratuitous picture of like yourself and or like your
Yeah.
someone in your family. It's like actually something that like might be useful to the people who are seeing it.
Well, that was kind of my hope, and I was like, "Let me get, like, a variety of stuff." Like, I started doing, for Halloween, like, the little recipes for Halloween drinks, trying to
I love the
they're like,
cocktail recipes.
6 days till Halloween, get your drinks
Love
ready.
cocktail.
But then I was, like, posting, what is today? It was National Pasta Day one day or National Chocolate Day. Some people might think it's silly, but, like, I think it's
I find those interesting. Yeah. Like I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like an excuse for me to take a picture.
But then also like a recommendation for like a local place to get great pasta.
Yeah, like I said, yeah.
yeah, it's, like, always, like, things that people do wanna know probably. That was kinda my angle for getting back on. Like, just find random stuff that people probably wanna know.
Yeah, well, that one I remember when I first got my license, like I felt a little cringy sharing kind of like those gratuitous pictures of myself or like videos of just me talking. Clearly now, if you follow me on social media, you know that I don't feel cringy about that anymore. But like the one phrase that we're told is like, you can't be a secret agent. We're trying to run businesses. Like this is my business. This is literally how I'm going to pay for my kids' dance class and soccer practices. So like
Yeah.
if we're quiet and we don't let people know that we're here and we have personalities and we are running a business, then they won't know the values that we can offer as
And
voters.
and that they are directly what supports our business and our livelihood, them using us, them referring us. So, that's important to know. And I know you said in the beginning you felt cringy, and we all kind of did it on some level. But I always like go back to this thing that Kristen told me when I started the business. I'm like, I don't want to be salesy,
Mm.
but there are you being a secret agent is not helping your people because you have good intentions. You're a good agent. You're going to do your best for those people. And just like every other industry, there's good people and there's bad people, but you're leaving them out there to find someone else who's not a great agent to help them with a really, really big transaction in their life. So after that, it was like such a mindset shift. I'm like, okay, we're putting all the things on social media. Like we are, talking directly to people about business because we are helping them.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's kinda what I'm struggling with now. So I've gotten down, like, the random posts, but I have not sat there and talked to the camera yet. I think I'm struggling
We
with
got to break.
I do feel cringy. I'm like, "Ugh."
And you absolutely don't have to. Like there are people who run their businesses without ever
Yeah.
putting their faces on social media. I feel like in this day and age and in our culture, it is harder. I don't know how successful I would be if I wasn't doing it, but I kind of feel like you have to break the seal. And like once you do it, like Jeanette, you don't post on social media often, but when you do, it is like killer.
So good,
Like
so good.
you deliver. And
Her voice is amazing. So with her, she's like, I can't just get on there and just like talk like you do. And I'm like, some days I can't either, but then some days I'm like in a mood and I'm just rambling, right? But her voice, I'm like, you can start easy and just like, she takes beautiful pictures and videos, like do a voiceover, if you don't want to put your face out there, like that's always like a good option.
That's a good way to start. Yeah, I need to be better about posting, but it's hard.
She's got a lot to offer too, as far as,
Private. On the
well, we are dating.
so
don't tell anybody.
I feel like another part of it is we all have like Instagram draft pages and Canva draft pages just full of unfinished content. And like we're all like, but it's not ready yet. It's not perfect. I have one right now that I told myself I was going to post last Friday and haven't done it yet. But it's like, what's the phrase that we always tell each other?
better than perfect.
Done is done is better than perfect. So I feel like for you as a perfectionist, you probably like don't want to put things out there that you don't feel like are perfect, but the things that you do put out there are so good.
Thank
We want
you.
more.
Yes.
Well, and I think people like the real content, like just walking down the street, talking to the camera. Like, apparently, people like that. I did the gas station reel, and that was the thing that I posted that got the most views, like 400 and some views. All I did was talk about the gas pump, put some music to it.
It's
said, "Oh,
crazy.
I'm not from Jersey anymore."
And like everybody loved it. I'm jumping on that because last week Caitlin got in my head about our Halloween post and I thought, oh my gosh, she said it was gonna be what did you say? You thought maybe it's a little, I don't know, cringy. I felt,
I don't know.
guess what?
I think I'm abusing the phrase cringy.
That
No, I'll let you eat it. Good word.
did better than any, like views wise, did better than any of our other posts. Yeah, it's silly. It's a silly happy Halloween, but we posted it, and I was like, I'm so glad we posted.
Everyone, when we say did better, like it's not just about like getting the attention. Like, look at us, we're in costumes, we're doing it's. These are people that we're bringing in to see what we are offering and what we're all about. And this is again how we are going to build our business as a team and our personal businesses. So when we say that these videos and posts are doing better, this is what's allowing our businesses to grow.
Exactly, because we're about attracting our ideal client. And I think people are going to just naturally come to us to work because they're like, all right, I like them. I like what they're about. And I want them to represent me in my home sale or my purchase. I think that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people rag on realtors and say we love attention, and maybe that's true, but we also
Not others.
we are business owners and operators, and this is how we're going to get people to see what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that we are like, I love our team because our team is like, there's such a variety of us, right? But we do things at such a high level. We are such in the know, in the market. We like, we're just this beautiful puzzle. Excuse me if I don't say so myself, but we are like, I love us. We are just this beautiful puzzle. It's like, I might be too much for some people because I know that I'm too much sometimes. And maybe they're more of a fit for Kristen. And like, we're like each other's like yin to the yang. And I feel like everybody can find, something in us. So like, I can vibe with that.
That's my person.
Yeah. And I feel comfortable because this is a big transaction in your life, whether you're buying or selling or looking for your first investment property. And you want to feel comfortable with that person and, just and be able to make good decisions, be able to get good advice, like all the things. And you're not going to be open to those things if you feel uncomfortable with that person.
Yeah, and if people look at us and the videos we're putting out, they might get to know Kristen and know, oh, Kristen has lived and worked in North Wilmington for her entire life and career and like really knows that market. Or they might see that I like love Wilmington, the city, and like those old historic homes, and that's something I really know and I'm getting to know better. So they might align with that. Or Jeanette is doing a lot with like the high end Middletown she has her own aesthetic that they might really resonate. That if you follow her on social media, you'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and Amber's
Something for
obviously
everybody.
the old Newcastle expert. So
Oh, love Old
yeah.
Newcastle. Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of the team and all of us being different and in who we are, Jenna, this is your first podcast episode. I can't believe we just kind of like flew by that. Look, you're a natural already.
I'm
Yeah.
trying.
So everyone get to know Jenna.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Star.
No, this is great. This is great. I'm glad I, got my license and started a new adventure, you could say.
Yeah, you're a natural
it.
fit on the team.
Yeah. And you're doing
Thank
great.
you.
Speaking of your social media, like you're,
Thank you. It's been a learning.
I've been very impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, they're going to wrap it up for this podcast. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of That Delaware Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at That Delaware Podcast and our team page at RosaioTeam_real estate. And of course, if you have any real estate or Delaware questions, feel free to reach out.